Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, November 29th, 2022. This is the Giant Bombcast, episode 766. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa, and we got a couple buttes. We got some top shelf boys with silky mitts, because I now have been inundated to the world of hockey and fun vernacular. We got the silkiest mitts himself with the silkiest hair. That's what they say in hockey. Silky hair as well. Jeff Grubb.
If I were to say to you, I'm going to go 5-hole, Jan, what do you think that means?
Oh, good question.
Next up, we also have Jeff Bakalara on the pod.
I love it, like you're introducing, I'm like, oh, this could be me with the silky mitts, and then you go silky hair, and I'm just like, I'll yield the rest of my time.
Well, you know, it could be like you got smooth body hair, right?
Sure.
Oh,
That's what I
God.
always think about when I think about Jeff Bakalara, is this smooth body hair.
Yep. Every night as I lay down for my evening slumber, my wife looks over to me and she goes, you know, your body hair is as smooth as it can be, and this is why I
Shimmery.
stay married to you.
You're glowing. You're glowing.
It could have been that. We never know.
Sometimes you got to condition your back hair. No one ever
Right.
talks about that.
No, exactly. Everyone, like, you know, everyone's talking about like, oh, try this beard oil for your beard to grow your beard. What about back hair oil? Huh?
What about it?
Where's the market on back hair oil?
By the way, prospective sponsors of back hair oil, hit us up.
Please.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Or let us invent it and then we'll sell it together. We're like, yeah, you bring the raw ingredients, we'll mix it together. I'll make some back hair oil.
Yeah, there's probably some like cocoa butter involved.
Leftover.
Maybe like
Yeah. Shay?
shea. Yeah,
Shea butter?
Some good shea.
Who's going to be
regular
brave
butter.
enough? Who's going to be brave enough to get to market first with the back hair oil? Essential oils.
It's going to be Giant Bomb. It's going to be, as Chad is suggesting, back hair lar.
Okay.
Jeff back hair lar's back
I
hair
haven't
oils.
thrown up on a podcast
Ooh.
yet, but I'm going to start right now.
Okay, and then on top of that, right, we start selling back scratchers, but it's like a little bit more teeth. It looks more like a little rake, and that's just to help condition and comb the back hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exfoliate or something, yeah.
Yeah, you know how
Ooh.
how society's been telling you to shave that shit? You know how society's been telling you to wax
Time to be
that
proud
shit?
of it. Yeah, time to be
No.
proud.
Wear it proud, okay?
Exactly.
Wear your back vest proudly.
That's and this is how we also further my agenda of casually wearing aprons. Well, we just start going shirtless, right? And then
Sure.
you wear the
Oh,
apron, you
okay,
can, and then you can
okay.
just start like showing off the back hair.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a backless dress, but for podcasters.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. And think about if
Okay.
you have like a nice like utility apron, you could bling it out. You could have like a fun little patch,
Right.
and then you could have your back hair
You could
exfoliator.
bedazzle it or whatever it's called, where you put the, yeah, you
Yep.
put the little
I
plastic
think you mean
jewelry on it.
bedazzle, but yeah.
Bedazzle. There we go. Yeah.
No. I think he meant what he said.
I meant what I said.
Bedazzle is the patent pending
Right,
way.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Listen, these-
That is the Giant Bomb specific way to do
Right.
it.
These
You
fell
know?
out of a truck. I just changed a few letters on the cover. We're good to go.
It's like it's like when you or how some companies can't say that they're wings, right? For food, they have to do it WYNGZ because
Right.
it's not actually chicken wings, it's wings.
Yeah.
Mhm. Wangs.
Wings.
My wings.
My wang.
And that is the third product we've developed today. My wings, my wangs.
Sharks, let me tell you about wings.
Okay.
You heard me right. You
Yes.
heard me right.
Yeah, whenever I'm at the grocery store and I see those, I just mutter that to myself. Wangs. Like, I can't. It's I love it.
My favorite is when I will like read something that is just like it's just written one way, but I will add like no, there's like a capital letter somewhere in the middle there, and like something like lower than a lowercase. What is that? A subscript?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So like, whenever I read wife anywhere now, it's just wife.
Yeah, that's it. It just dips. It dips.
Speaking about dips, how was everyone's extended weekend? Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving here in the United States. I mentioned dips because a cousin generally brings over spinach dip, but they were not invited this year because they only ever bring spinach dip and they take all the food.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I love them to death. They're great.
Thanksgiving was rough for me this year.
Oh, no.
And not because of the normal discourse that one has at the dinner table. No,
Sure.
it was none of that this year, my friends, because I was the most hungover I've ever been in. Oh, I will go ahead and say 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Still from the wrestling show you went to? You're just still hungover from that?
Nope. Somehow I got out of that unscathed, and instead I went to a New Jersey Devils hockey game on Thanksgiving Eve. And some fucking wizard among us, some succubus, some sort of like demon child sent from hell to destroy the New Jersey Devils winning streak.
Oh, no.
I was on this show last week,
life.
right? Where I said they will never lose again, and then they lost the next game, next game.
Okay.
After
Not
having
only
3
that,
goals called back.
Yes. Okay. For people that don't know, the NHL found a way to incorporate the worst part of the NFL by calling plays back. Okay. And now certain goals can get overturned if the play was offsides, if there's a goalie interference challenge, whatever it is. If you kick the puck in by accident, or actually if you mean to. And this happens maybe 1 out of 6 games. Maybe 1 out of 6 games, a single goal gets turned over, disallowed.
Yeah.
My friends, the game that I decided to go to, the game that would have seen the Devils break the franchise record for consecutive wins at 14.
The game that I cursed.
3 disallowed goals. I've never seen that in the history of hockey, my friends. But Jeff Grubb, sitting over there, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't put the worst possible vibes
responsibility
out in the universe and just sent them to Newark, New Jersey to just sprinkle evil upon the Prudential Center.
The Maple
That's
Leafs
what you did.
even. Just like send the Maple Leafs in like Mr. Magoo just to like stumble their way into a victory, which is what they honestly, I got paid back. They did the same thing to the Red Wings.
They beat you. Listen,
they didn't beat us up. They just like, honestly, they got outplayed and they still won because it's the Maple Leafs right now. That's just what they do.
Yeah, don't worry. The Maple Leafs will get what's coming to them, as they always do every year.
I'm sorry. I have to derail this real quick.
Please.
Jeff Grubb, do you think the children now know who Mr. Magoo is?
No.
Oh, no, I definitely don't think that. No.
Okay.
I just really like referencing Mr. Magoo.
Okay.
Just let it go.
Yeah, and I very specifically know for a fact that they don't know who Mr. Magoo is. But I like the idea of them looking him up and be like, they just made a cartoon about an old blind man? What was entertainment back when Jeff was young?
Wait.
This is before my time.
Was Mr. Magoo blind?
Well,
he's like, basically, he was like, couldn't see, like legally blind, right? Where he could
like a real old dog.
Yeah, like he's got like super thick glasses and kind of just like wandering into places. And
He couldn't even draw eyes on the motherfucker.
I'll ask if Mr. Magoo's a meep. I will ask that, Weeze man.
So I'll get back to the hungover thing. I was defenseless. Okay, there's a beer garden outside this place. I was out for a birthday party. Half my hockey team was there, and I had no chance. I did not realize what I was getting myself into. This was a night. It was a great night, and they lost it. But the game was so weird. And then people it was just crazy. I don't know if you saw the coverage of this game. It was crazy. It was anarchy. 17,000 lunatics just going insane. I've never seen anything like it in that place in 10 years. It was out of control. I wake up the next morning, and I am spinning.
Oh, no.
It's like 9 a.m., and I get up and my wife's already gone because we're hosting Thanksgiving. And I'm spinning. I'm trying to find the ground. I'm trying to like find where
You're
I
Mr.
am.
Magooing yourself, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you were Mr.
Magooing
Magooing
all over my
yeah.
bedroom. I'm just like, where am I? I didn't come downstairs. Okay, I'm happy. I'm not happy to admit this, but I did not come downstairs until 2:30 p.m.
Whoa, that's really late.
Now you want to talk about pieces of shit?
Yeah, you were a piece of shit for Thanksgiving.
I used to be a piece of shit last Wednesday. Oh,
Yeah.
last Thursday, rather. Last Thursday. Holy shit.
Well, that's
Anyway.
that was part of the curse. I'm sorry that I put on
I
the
didn't
Devils.
realize the literal
It
hangover.
would have knock-on effects. Absolutely.
Well, that's how my Thanksgiving went, you guys.
Oh, that sounds nice. Mine was pleasant. I made dinner. We ate great, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were over, and then we played through Streets of Rage 4, and that was real fun.
Hey.
That sounds delightful.
It was delightful.
And Jans, I trust yours was good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Showing, some of the immediate family a puppy, and then, not having to exchange any type of small talk, because now you just show them the puppy, and then the puppy derails everything from there.
Puppy speaks for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, how are you doing? Like, how's work? Here's this puppy. Jeff Bakalara, I think there's also another quick thing you wanted to touch on before we get talking about games.
Yes, I would like to talk about the lovely program Albumer. So, after about a year of shows, we're going to take a break with Albumer. And we're going to work with them to figure out where we go from here.
There's no more bad music for them to go cover. That's the big issue there. They ran out of bad music.
You do 66 episodes. You hit the gamut. You run the gamut, rather, of all the bad music ever created. That show, like, how could it go on, right? Mm-hmm. No. I think, all kidding aside, I think, like, I don't think it is a very easy thing to do to enter the Giant Bomb Club and hit the ground running, right? There's a lot of difficulty there, but I think that Albumer crew did that out of the gate, right? From episode 1. So I just want to thank that entire crew, everyone that tuned in, everyone that supported that show. Anytime I pop into Discord, plenty of conversations going on about that show, asking questions about that show. So a big thanks to everyone that supported that. I definitely want to shout out Jordan and Drew and Emily and Lucy and Katie and everyone that worked real hard on that show over the last year. Please do us a favor, okay? Listen to the episode that will come out tomorrow. I believe it's 66. Make sure you follow all those hosts, support 2 Minutes to Late Night, follow their individual projects if you can. I truly believe they are all incredibly talented and hilarious people. And more importantly, they're just genuinely good people. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they rule.
That obviously goes a long way. I have no reservation in saying that without a doubt, the Albumer crew is 100% a part of our greater Giant Bomb family. We love them very much. And this is not a goodbye. You can expect to see them stopping by very soon to hang out. And that's really all there is to say for now. Thank you. And we'll go from here.
Yeah, maybe the dump truck will stop by the Albumer compound and pick up a couple of those cool cats.
Yeah, and they don't wear seatbelts, so we can just put them in the back.
Yeah, just pile them up in the trunk.
Yeah, something I really enjoy about the Albumer crew is their enthusiasm for music, even if it's like questionable, the music they're talking about, it's still very infectious, and I just love when people are enthusiastic about the stuff that they're covering and everything, and when you think about the premise of the show, it sounds like, oh, they're just piling and poo-pooing on something, but it's so much more than that. And it's also a bunch of cool cats just hanging out, just like these cool cats in Are You Two Gents Ready to Talk About Games?
Yes.
No, No, real quick. 42 people said they know Mr. Magoo. Only 4 said no. The kids are with me, Jan. The children are with me now.
Oh, cool. AKA how to find out if your chat is all boomerfied.
I asked Twitch too, and it's a 9. I just asked them. It's 9-1 right now. So, and that's yes, 9-1, yes.
Who is the modern day Mr. Magoo?
Joe Biden.
Yeah. No, you're right, dude.
All right.
I mean, I dare you to find a better answer.
I'm going to need someone to... You don't even have to do that much work. Like,
honestly,
I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about
Probably
it.
just do a Google search.
All right. Hold on. Joe Biden, Mr. Magoo. Joe Biden's Mr. Magoo presidency. Okay. That's that has led me to some
Yeah, never mind. That's a
there's
bad
some
idea.
very weird YouTube
Abort.
searches there.
Don't abort.
We're gonna pivot.
I don't know if you know this, but the internet's been compromised. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's been tainted.
It's
gone bad.
Just now, actually, it turns out. Okay, video games.
A lot of good comments here in chat. Oh.
Video games have happened. We've all played a couple more of them because of the long weekend. But Jeff Bakalara, you've checked in now on some Goat Simulator 3.
I have, and who would have known that this is the game to save my Thanksgiving?
Okay.
Because I was useless, as we mentioned earlier. But what I was able to do is wrangle a bunch of under 12-year-olds and have them cooperate. And how did I do that? To have them gather around Goat Simulator 3 and play that dumbass game, which is anything but. What a delight. What a delightful sandbox of anarchy in a mostly playful way, except when, like, every now and then, like, an NPC will be like, holy shit, like, as loud as they can. And I'm like, all right, they've all heard that word before. It's not that big of a deal, but you're sort of just like, is that, all right. Anyway, I know you guys played this a little bit. I know you were interrupted by like a giraffe or whatever.
No, I was the giraffe. We were interrupted
you were the giraffe.
By a goat wearing a dolphin mask and having an old lady on his back. That's what we were.
Right. Yes. And I wondered when I was watching your video, like, oh damn, I wonder how all those things happen. They happen right away.
Yeah, they just happen.
They do.
That's it. What a delightful game that makes absolutely no sense, and I love every second of it. I think there is something about this game that I don't want to say it waters everything down to just a simplicity like, hey, play in the sandbox and see what happens. But there's enough of like a bit of a sort of like carrot to chase. That's like a good goat reference, right? Like I feel like a goat's like, okay, where you're just sort of like, oh, I'm going to continue down this sort of weird path and see what I get exposed to and what opens up and all the fun things you could, I mean, man, there's nothing better than like, oh, all right, well, I'm a shark now on a skateboard, and I also have like an old grandma with a cannon on my back, and I'm now going to drive this car into a lake and have everyone in the car jump out while we're midair. Is that good? Yeah, okay, everyone agreed on that?
And it works.
Excellent. And the game just does it. The game's just like, you want to do all that? I can arrange that. I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be like, oh, the draft sticks out so you can't actually get into this car. It's like, no, we're just going to break the game for you to have fun. Totally. That's the magic of Goat Simulator. And it's really, really good here. It's I did not have family play it, but I did put on our quick look because they saw something about it. We were watching some other YouTube video and it popped up. I'm like, yeah, we can watch that. And they were cracking up the entire time. It's just it's like that is where comedy and video gaming comes from, is where you have a sandbox, you say, hey, can we do this thing? You do it, and it looks absurd, but everyone's like, oh my God, it's still working. That's great. I really enjoy it. I'm not surprised to hear 12-year-olds are having the time of their life with this game. This is for them.
Right.
So it was funny because like we were all sitting down in the family room, and I fire this up, and there's like 2 people in the room who are like mortified. We're just like, those goats are murdering farmers. I shit you not. That was a pull quote from my Thanksgiving. Okay. And I'm just like, what the? Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what these kids. That's what's happening. These kids see these goats and are like, well, shit, this is repeatable. This is I've been impressed upon, and now I will live my life according to the rules set in Goat Simulator.
The creative Goat Simulator, absolutely.
But hey,
exactly.
Some of those people, those farmers, it's called for to murder them because some of those NPCs will straight up kick the goats.
Before I even responded to that absurd sentence, I said, well, first of all, those fucking farmers had it coming.
Exactly. Wasting water left and right.
They're probably all almond farmers in California, definitely.
Yeah, sucking the land dry of all that water.
Every 5 feet, there's something interesting in this game, though. That's the thing. Like, they're not going to let you get bored, and it's not like super repetitive. You go over the mole, and that makes you jump in the air, and then you go over a manhole cover, and that makes you jump in the air. But then you're going to be grinding out onto a hot air balloon and catching on fire, and then while you're doing all this, there are those carrots on the stick popping up, saying, "Hey, go ahead and catch yourself on fire and put yourself out with water." I'm like, oh yeah, that's something to like consider while mostly ignoring that stuff. But when it's time to like, well, okay, I'm getting a little bit bored. What can I do next? That those goals kind of just wrap you right back around, and it's really well designed. They knew what they were making, and I think they really nailed it.
And
sorry, go ahead. I
was gonna say, and there's just enough of a tease of like satanic worship that I'm like,
yeah.
It's like like a sweet taste after dinner. I require Satanism wherever I can get it. And I just need a little taste of that.
Yeah,
and you get that in the ritual sort of like church, the goat temple.
Yeah, I'm glad that someone like was getting like they're murdering those. Like, yeah, I want like someone to walk in the room and be a little uncomfortable with what they're looking at. Well, giraffes' dead bodies just flopping around endlessly in the water. Why? Well, because it rules actually.
I was gonna say, like, every time I fire this up when we did that quick look, and every time I've played it since, it has like that vague taste also of like an old Tony Hawk game where it's just like dumb enough, but you can still do enough. And I feel like this is the game that Ubisoft was trying to make with Rider Republic. You know, that game where it's like you could do the squirrel suit, you could bike, snowboard, wherever. But I feel like this developer needs to make a sports game just as goats, like they don't even have to be people. I also just really like the approach to it where it's not taking itself seriously at all. It's like we're just having a good time as goats and maybe a giraffe. Let's just add a skateboard because there's like a trick system in this. It's so dumb.
And the physics are like pretty good.
Yeah. More than passable.
Yeah, I the part that really got my family was Jan, you're like, get on this bike with me, and I'm this big giraffe and trying to get on the bike, and we would just kind of sit there for a second, and it would just like slowly fall over, and then we tried like 5 times, and of course Dan was throwing things at us the entire time, and then finally we made it work, and we just started going down the hill, and we got like 5 feet, but it still was really satisfying because I'm glad that it's sort of difficult to make that function, because when you do get it working, it feels sort of rewarding, and it looks stupid still in a really funny way. It's I'm pretty enamored with what they've done here.
Totally.
Yeah. Speaking about being enamored, this I feel like is right. I hope you're enamored with it. At least I don't mean to make any assumptions. But Jeff Grubb, you've been playing Soccer Story.
I have, yeah. So Soccer Story kind of came out of nowhere for me a little bit. The developers, I think it was the publishers for it, reached out and said, "Hey, you want to code?" I'm like, "Soccer Story? That sounds like Golf Story," and I like Golf Story. It is not from the Golf Story people. It is basically though a one of those, a sports RPG where you interact with all of the world and you complete all your quests through the power of soccer. And that is, and the good thing about this game is that it's cute and the story is light and there's not a ton of talking. It's got a pretty brisk pace, but the core soccer fundamentals are pretty good. So you kind of just enjoy, like in Golf Story, you could just drop a ball at any time and just hit it. You could do that anytime. Here, you could drop the soccer ball at any time. It's a magic soccer ball that you find, and you can kick it whenever you want. And that means so when you see something that kind of looks like a goal in the environment, you just kind of kick the ball into it, and it's like, oh yeah, you found a secret goal in the environment. And it also has a pretty fun plot where Soccer Inc., clearly just FIFA, has outlawed soccer throughout the universe. and no one's allowed to play it, and your family's afraid to like even like see a soccer ball, let alone talk about it. So, you know, I think one good way to make me feel cool about doing something in a video game is make it illegal. And I'm like, all right, we're breaking the law. We're playing soccer, and it's against the law. So it gets off to a pretty good start, and I'm pretty early in it still. But it's hitting exactly what I want from one of these sports RPGs. I really, really loved Golf Story, and this seems like it's doing a lot of the same stuff just with soccer. It also looks really, like I said, really cute, where it's got the voxel environment and 2D pixelated characters, and the ball is kind of this 3D object. It's really well done and mashed together in a really neat way. It's out on Switch. It's out on Steam. I think it's probably even maybe on Game Pass. I should double check that. But I'm playing on Switch. On the OLED screen, it looks fantastic. So yeah, I'm really into it. And it's holding me over while I wait for Sports Story. And honestly, I might be like, oh yeah, I kind of got one of these right now. I might not even need Sports Story, so I might be eating that game's lunch a little bit.
Oh wow,
Yummy.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone who's like waiting for Sports Story instead.
Also, speaking about waiting for Sports Story, there's no segue there.
Oh, you did it.
There's no segue there.
I'm counting it.
Bakalara, you said you brought up something on the Bombcast last week that has been haunting me ever since you talked about it.
Okay.
Because you just have that haunting presence to you, and I say this in a good way. Say this,
spooky man. Yeah,
a little spooky man. Maybe it's the back hair, perhaps. But when you brought up how Dylan mentioned that I may be falling out of love with Pokemon, it hurt me to my core. It stuck with me.
You, huh?
Yeah, it did. No. So then I thought, like, you know what? I'm going to do this for Dylan. I'm going to do this for Dylan. I pounded my fists on my desk, and I fired up Scarlet and Violet again to think maybe I can find love again in this game. And then I saw on Twitter someone was linking like, hey, are you having performance issues with Scarlet and Violet? And then I laughed and said, of course I'm having performance issues with this game. Everyone is having performance issues with this game. And then they had shared about switching the install from the SD card to the Switch itself.
Oh,
and
really?
then solving some stuff. And let me tell you, I tried that. I don't know why it would perform any differently.
It shouldn't, yeah.
It shouldn't, and maybe this was just a placebo effect, but it kind of felt like it was performing differently.
Weird, okay.
I don't have like any footage to do a 1-for-1 type of difference, and then maybe it's because I was playing on handheld versus like docked to my computer here. There was a slight difference. And let me tell you, even that slight little bit of difference was not enough to make me like this game still. And I feel so left out. I feel so left out by the greater Pokemon community because I see everyone's having fun, and I just can't get into it. People are really enjoying it, and I don't know what it is about it. I'm
where
trying
are you at in it? Like where, like through the early set, like are you at the point where it opens up and you get your bike Pokemon or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
My bike Pokemon can now fly, and it's just a little bit freakier now. I still hate that it requires sandwiches to fully function, and I'm not super in love with some of the new Pokemon. They're some of the Pokemon you need to like walk them for them to fulfill the requirement to evolve, and if you walk too fast, they'll disappear and go back into their Pokeball. And this has been an issue I've seen people have. So you have to throw out your Pokemon to go out into the overworld, walk with them for a little bit, or a lot bit, and then they'll be able to evolve after they reach a certain level of certain amount of walking. And I was kind of tired of doing that because I just wanted to see my little guy evolve. So what I did is I did what I used to do with Pokemon breeding in Sword and Shield, and I threw out the little dude, and I took a rubber band, and I just put my Joy-Cons together, so my avatar was just walking in a circle repeatedly. And it wasn't walking too fast, right? That I was able to evolve that little bastard in an hour because I just let my Switch go.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm kind of glad that still works. I'm glad that's still in there. That's it makes me nostalgic.
Yeah. It's there's just maybe too many issues for me to like really enjoy the game. And then my TikTok algorithm is just showing me the same repeated fan-made trailer of like a fan-made game that looks amazing, and then it isn't at all what I'm getting on this. And I don't know, hey, maybe there will be like another thing that'll like get me back into it. I do like the raids though. The raids are good. And if you're actually participating in the raids properly and you're doing them with friends and not doing it with randos, you're going to get more out of the game. There has been an exploit though. There has been an exploit, and breaking news here, folks.
In this game?
It turns out. So if you do, I forget what they're called, but like the higher level raids, if you go into them and just straight up lose, you will still get pretty good rewards versus actually completing the raid.
Okay.
So if you and a bunch of your scumbag homies, you know, maybe you're after you slick back your hair and get some sloppy steaks, right? You go into these raids, invite them with a code, and then you purposely throw the match, you will still get a good chunk of rewards versus actually trying to win. So I don't know, maybe this is an inadvertent lesson and just how Game Freak operates, where, yeah, you could do everything you want, still lose, and still rake in the rewards, baby.
Hell
because
yeah,
Pokemon is still making money.
You still cash them checks, yeah.
Still cashing them
is
checks.
back on the menu.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to know, like, so are you do seem to still be playing it. Do you want to still be playing it, or is it just the guilt that your friends are giving you and Dylan's giving you?
Wow.
Right now, it's the guilt, and I also don't want to. I don't want to disappoint Dylan. Is all.
Well,
Sure.
I guess I'll be lying to him. I just feel like the takeaway from this little segment here was like, yo, that game's still not okay. But I lie to him all the time. This will be no different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be another one on the pile for the therapist to deal with. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's their problem.
Well, this could be a lesson of like, hey, Dylan, you know, sometimes like people fall out of favor with stuff, but you can also like what you want to like.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's a learning opportunity.
Yeah. I do like, though, I will say that I do like the little quality of life stuff where, like, hey, here's this ability capsule. You don't like the ability, or you're searching for a specific ability with a Pokemon because you're interested in competitive, then here it is. You don't have to constantly breed Pokemon just to get that specific ability. Also, the terrestrializing stuff, that's when your Pokemon becomes like one of those fancy chandelier stuff.
It's when they have like a secret type, right? They can have a secret type that might not be something they would normally have. Okay.
Some of the implications with that, because I've yet to actually play competitive in the game proper, but then I'm just like fantasy booking in my head of like, okay, well, if this Pokemon had this as a terrestrialized type, then I could absolutely smash someone's face in with this. And then I'm just thinking of like, okay, this could be where the game starts to get fun to me in my head, where I have to hunt specifically for terrestrialized Pokemon with a specific type, because I saw someone looking for a Slacking, and a Slacking is a normal type, and they were specifically looking for a terrestrialized one with a ghost type. So it is now it would be now normal and ghost type, which is all sorts of messed up in competitive Pokemon, because there are only so many things that can literally hit it, and it's just fucked up. Because
it sounds mechanically very cool.
Because you could be going into a fight, you see a Slacking, and it's like, oh, sick, I'm just going to punch it with a fighting type because that'll be super effective. And then you terrestrialize your Slacking, it becomes a fancy crystal thing that you see at the mall that you never actually buy.
Sure, yeah.
You just visit the store and just poke and prod at stuff. And then like, oh, shit, my hit didn't do anything. So that implication, I'm excited to see maybe down the line after the current quest that I am on, which is, I think, a quest that the whole staff is on, which is the Game of the Year Dash to the Finish Line.
Oh, buddy.
Here it is.
I just want to ask the panel we have collected here before we hit the break. No Game of the Week this week, because we're
catching up
on stuff. Exactly. I also want to ask the games industry to stop releasing games after December. Just stop.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's really messing things up.
You
stop at Thanksgiving.
You ever hear of bottlenecking? You ever hear of that? Come on, let it breathe a little bit. Did you want to like go around the room and see what we're trying to catch up on? Was that the spirit of it?
Exactly, sir. You Mr. Magoo'd yourself right into this.
Hey, broken clock twice a day and all that. I'm so Faith, Signalis.
Faith?
Faith. I started that. I guess I should go back to that. I don't even have it. Okay. I'm added to my list. All right.
Add it to the list. Put another log on the fire.
There's a lot.
Immortality I never did. Which I feel like I just need to. I feel like at this point it's like, yo man, you just have to play that.
I think you and you should have Stace sit with you.
You play it on Netflix.
You took what?
You can play it on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
You just go. You turn on the Netflix app on your TV and you use your remote to play.
Oh, because it's like. Because it's like a choose your own adventure, right?
Yeah, it's an FMV sort of searching through footage game. Yes.
Oh, it's basically the fuck was that?
Her story?
Haberdash? No, not what the.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm not gonna be able to think of it because you said Haberdash just without any regard
like
for what it would do to my mental state.
Yes. Right? It's an Alice in Wonderland.
It's Jonathan Huberdeau.
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch. Yeah.
Bandersnatch.
Yeah, he plays for the Calgary Flames now, I think. Bandersnatch.
Yeah, Tommy Bandersnatch. They call him Bandies. So yeah, okay, I get it. Oh, sure. I'll. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll disguise it as a Netflix show, and then just have my wife sit there and be like, "Yeah,
I think she'll be into it. I think she'll be into it. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because there's a mystery and stuff. I mean, she'll be into it for a while at least.
Yeah, or at least until the next episode of White Lotus comes out.
Yeah, well, yeah,
which has been fantastic.
Hey, Wednesdays are wide open now. Like nothing is getting published on Wednesdays by anyone because
Andor's done. Yeah,
Andor's done.
Wide open.
You still got more? You catching up?
No, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
Trying to think if there's any last minute additions. Like I know we have an internal sort of running list of like, yo, you should check this out.
Yeah, I'm
gonna peruse that one more time and just cherry pick a couple ones that I really should have gotten to. But I feel like I've kept the log nice and tidy this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I added Faith there. The ones, like I'm looking at my list, it's pretty long. I need to probably check out Roller Drome a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
I was kind of into the way it felt when I first started it, but then I'm going to go back to that. And it works great on the Steam Deck. Anything that works on the Steam Deck would just be fantastic right now. I want to play Bayonetta 3. I started Signalis. That is the one I started over the weekend, and I got a little bit into it. It reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Ghost Babel for the Game Boy Color, so that's really working for me. Like it's got all this, it's got all the same sort of menu system and stuff, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. But and then Sparks of Hope, I think, is the other one that I really want to catch up on. But right now, the one I'm playing is Signalis, and then I'm trying to play Bayonetta 3, but my kid keeps taking my Switch, and it's becoming more and more of a problem actually. So.
Don't you have like 11 Switches? I don't understand.
I got another one, but they always end up playing a game on my account, and then they leave it somewhere, and then I'll try to start it up on the Switch Lite, and it's like, well, we can't start it up. You're playing a game somewhere else. I'm like, I know I'm not, but the system thinks I am, so I have to manage that and get them on their own accounts, and she's 3, she doesn't know.
Nothing's easy.
No. Bayonetta 3, I keep forgetting that actually came out.
I know.
I feel like I remember the beat, like the voice acting drama and just all the controversy surrounding the game more so than the game itself.
This happens a lot now.
Yeah, where
the pre-release cycle is so draining and so extra extended, right? Like by the time the game comes out, you're just sort of burnt on the thing. And it's a bit anticlimactic, regardless of the quality of the game. Is sad to say.
Yeah.
And I know people, for the most part, enjoy it. And it sounds like people are maybe a little down on like, you know, what a Switch game looks like in 2022, but
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it sucks. Definitely sucks.
My checklist before to get to Game of the Year, I gotta finish God of War Ragnarok. I did check out 2 Point Campus, and I think I've just come to terms with I can barely manage myself on a day-to-day basis, that it is super stressful and exhausting to think about making a functioning school. And all the people look like Wallace and Gromit, so I bounced off of that.
Oh, right. You're the weirdo who hates like Wallace and Gromit shit?
Yeah,
like
he hates claymation. Yeah, it's the fingerprints.
Stop motion, completely fine with. Fantastic Mr. Fox, great movie.
Is there not any clay or it's just like action figures basically?
It's all like animal hair.
Puppet?
It's all puppetry. Work? Yeah.
Puppetry?
Yeah.
What was Coraline?
I think that was stop motion.
That's just
it's definitely stop motion. I just don't know if it was like clay.
I don't think it's clay. No. There might be some. You know, they obviously probably use a lot of different mediums in there to accomplish what they're trying to go for. But I was just watching the Mickey Mouse Christmas special they released today, and I was like claymation. It was a little claymation, and I'm like, I wonder if this would bother Jan, and I think the answer is yes. I was thinking of Jan. That's what I was thinking when I was watching it with my kids.
They stopped like you know, there's no more fingerprints, Jan. You're safe.
Addie, Uncle Jan wouldn't like that Mickey Mouse movie.
Oh, don't tell her this.
Oh boy, Uncle Janner hates it.
Oh no, I just rewatched.
It's just got clay. He doesn't like the clay.
No, he hates clay. Clay beat him up in high
I'll explain clay later.
What's clay?
There's Clay Aiken. There's also clay as the medium. Great. I'm just disappointing children all over the place.
That's it.
The medicine's wearing off.
Oh no.
I also, not that I feel like I have to complete this game or really get good at it, but I really want to play more Rumbleverse.
Let's do it. Can we get in there? Because I want to like get in there and have a few good matches, because I felt like I went in there and just got wrecked, and I want to like at least get a handle on it, because I'm kind of right there with you, where I could tell it's something that I probably will really like if I would just like play it more.
I actually was scared of like jumping into a couple like solo Rumbleverse matches recently, because I was thinking like, I'm just gonna get smoked. People that are really good at this game have been really good at this game, but I was actually able to like kind of get the hang of it pretty fast, like a couple of games in. It's also much more stable than it was at launch, and everything.
That was a big part of it. Yeah,
it's much more easier to get into matches. Part of this was watching Dave Lang's stream, and him just he has his hands in Rumbleverse, of course.
Well, of course, yeah. He is the Rumble inside the Rumbleverse. Yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone knows that. Yep.
But then just like, you know, this whoever the people that make this game really do like wrestling and everything. Just like, it's also just one of the best elbow drops.
Yeah,
ever.
You kind of can't. Yeah, and we should. Elbow drop of the year might be something we should consider.
I thought that was that Jungle Boy elbow drop not the greatest elbow drop of the year?
It was not.
See, I know wrestling. I know that didn't go as well as it could have, right?
Ooh, you know? I have to show you who Kairi Sane is, because she has the best elbow drop in the biz.
To see it.
Better than Macho.
Ooh, okay, I love to hear that.
And I love me a good Macho Man
Cash
elbow
that check.
drop.
Okay.
That's the to me, that's the ideal wrestling maneuver. A Macho Man elbow drop. That's what wrestling should look like.
Yeah. And the last two stuff on my list, personally, gotta finish God of War Ragnarok. I'm really, really liking it, y'all.
I'm glad to hear
good. You like it because it's good, because you see value.
Yes. And then like I'm playing through it, and it's like this studio not only has the money, but I feel like they had the time to make this game versus like someone a studio that was forced to make a AAA type of game. And the last one is Norco.
Shit! I gotta add that. God damn it!
Yeah, Norco. I really, really dig the setting. I jumped into the save I had from earlier this year and did not remember shit. Like I was stuck in like a facility now, but I also was riding a sick motorcycle, and I forgot who the robot was, if I was the robot or if it's an actual robot. it's the writing, even from trying to dig and piece together where I was then, I could not put it together, so I had to restart the game, and I was kind of able to put stuff together. But I would definitely recommend Norco for folks that are, it's on Game Pass, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I definitely recommend Norco as like, hey, you need a break between all of the super duper big action AAA games of the year. Throw it in there. Try and put it in.
All right. It's in the queue. Let's go.
Norco is mostly like a text sort of thing, right? Where you're picking options in a conversation thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I just did Pentiment and really loved it. I wonder if I should give Norco a chance.
Too much reading. Is that what you're saying? Too much reading.
I did a lot of reading in one. I mean, maybe I'm at my word quota for the year, right? No more words.
Sure.
It is a lot more digging around than Pentiment, though, because you're going to have to like jump back to screens and everything and not try and solve stuff, but like go back and forth to a lot of locations. So it might be different than Pentiment. It is also more reading than Pentiment.
Right. Pentiment does have like blurbs almost. And okay. Well, I think I'm going to give Norco a chance. I'll give it a chance. My list is way longer than the games I mentioned. So some things are going to get left out. Yeah.
Also, folks, if you're listening or watching at home, if there's anything you think we should check out before the year ends, before we get to Game of the Year deliberations, please throw that in. Citizen Sleeper, that's probably in the upper half of my top 10. So,
all right, it's on my list here too. I'm looking at it right below Signalis, so maybe I'll get through Signalis and I'll play that.
Libra. Okay. Bakalara, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were getting ready to close out the first act here. Yes. But I noticed another thing this weekend with all the kids here in the house. After I came to eventually and was able to sort of interact with them, I noticed like, one was like 12 years old and she has a phone and she's playing Among Us and my kid's playing Among Us on the and they were all like doing that together. It was weird because they were all on the couch, but like playing it on different platforms and just finding a way to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like this, regardless of like that aspect of it, there's also this interesting sort of like sometimes I've noticed his growth happens like overnight, where like he's growing up, like he starts to make jokes, whatever, you notice that gradually. But this weekend was like a growing up weekend for him, where he was like, okay, I'm gonna play with friends, we're all gonna talk on the phone, like we're all gonna figure it out. Like they left and then he made it his business to like call her and play, be like, I'm jumping into Among Us, here's the code of the room I'm in. Like
that's cool.
It was just this like, oh, he's growing up, soon he's gonna be all fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
He's gonna call me terrible things. It was just a really interesting moment there that I felt worth it.
It does happen in spurts like that. They really are growth spurts. Where her back there, she's been playing a lot of video games like I've been talking about recently, and I'm kind of like watching her yesterday, and she's just doing everything. Like she has figured out every aspect of a bunch of different video games, navigating the menus, going from Kirby to Mario, and then when she's in Kirby, she knows she's supposed to be doing these certain goals. And I never explained to her that she needs to go collect the stars to upgrade her stuff in the shop. She just figured that out on her own.
Oh, nice.
And she's like showing me, like, look, I upgraded this. I'm like, you're 3. How are you doing this?
Wow.
You're gonna be a doctor.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh, you are just, this stuff just fits. You fit this like a round peg thing. Yeah, it's impressive stuff.
Just wait until the moment happens where you are one-upped.
Yeah, it just like feels so inevitable.
Even in Goat Simulator, right? Early on, there's a mission where you're like, save Steve from drowning. Okay, so we go to this like little, spring. And there's like a dude floating in the middle of the pool. I'm like, well, obviously that's Steve. You got to get Steve out of the fucking pond or we get him and the person's name is not Steve. And I'm like, okay, well that's, you're a funny game. And then my kid goes, wait a minute. What if one of these fish are named Steve? And I'm like, shut up.
Wow.
Turns out Yeah, one
That
of the
rules.
14
That's so
fish
fun.
is Steve, and you got
You
to
almost kind of
lick it.
need a kid's brain in that situation. That's fun. What a
Totally.
good game.
And I wasn't willing to just bash my head against the wall to become his level. But
Right, I mean,
you
but
know,
like as like a dad around, like being a gaming dad around kids, I've already spent a year explaining everything in video games to them. So you like when they start, if there's ever a moment where they start explaining things to me, I'm gonna be like, okay, what is happening? I'm gonna freak out a little bit.
dude, he's just taking over. Someone in chat mentioned the thing. If there's one thing I hope he doesn't inherit, it's my back hair.
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
Yeah,
after we get
you
the
want
back,
monopoly on that.
after we get the back oil off the ground, it'll be much more manageable to deal with. It'll be fine.
Oh, it'll be much more accepted. Then,
Yeah.
for sure.
The culture shift is happening.
It was tragic. Am I gonna go bald, Dad? I said, well, my buddy.
Sonny boy.
Oh, you are playing way behind the 8-ball with that, my friend. There's not a single DNA in your lineage that has hair after 40, my
I think
friend.
they were watching a video with Reichert in it, and they asked where his hair was. The kids asked where his hair was, and I'm like, "Well, no,
his mouth.
he's bald. He's bald. That happens sometimes." And she's like, "Well, I don't like it when people go bald." Okay, well, you can't tell people that.
It's organic.
Yeah.
It's organic.
Yeah, it just comes out the racism.
Speaking about hair, and then we'll go take a break because I have to like think about my own mortality afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
You know, before the bombcast, I like to freshen up a little bit. You know, brush my teeth again. You know, I know that I'm not physically next to you guys, but I still want to brush my teeth. You know, I get real close to this mic. I want to be fresh and everything. I'm staring at myself in the mirror. I notice both sides of my hair. I'm starting to get white hairs.
Yo, that's cool. That's cool.
I can't deal with this, y'all. I just turned 30. I just turned 30.
Dude, 30, great. Like a couple of little white hairs on the sides at 30. I'm sorry, Jan. I know we all have problems and it's all, relative, but it looks good. It looks good.
I'm not nearly as handsome as Oscar Isaac. I can't pull off the salt and pepper.
He's getting more handsome, though, and you'll get more handsome, too, through the power of salt and pepper.
Exactly. Salt and pep. S&P.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Just a dash of graceful aging. It's happening.
Right? The dash of Satanism and the dash of gray hair. It's
Michael Hyman chat to remind me I turned 31. Wait, what? How old am I?
Oh, that's why you're graying.
Oh, am I 31? Hold on.
You're an old man. You're definitely already an old man.
Count the gray hairs on your head, and that's how you know.
He's asking his partner how old he is.
Oh, we're 31. I'm so old now. I don't remember.
This is how it starts.
Is that one of the first time that's happened to you? Because that's basically every day of my life now. I'm like, I don't remember. I have to actually just do the math.
Oh, I can't do this. I need to. We need to go take a break. Need to take a break. Stay tuned, folks. We'll talk about the news, and then we'll take another break, and we'll talk about emails. And then, hey, if we end the Bombcast early enough, we might talk over this Mario trailer later today.
And have dinner because we're old. It's perfect time.
Oh, yeah, we'll do the 4:00 special. Yeah.
Yep. Early bird, baby.
Oh, no. Is that basically happy hour for old people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
For us, you mean?
Yeah.
I keep meaning to ask you this, Jeff Bakalara, but can I expense a slide whistle?
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
Like,
okay, please. Air your discrepancies.
Yes. He cannot take it back. I mean, that's the rule.
No, obviously it's been written in stone, but I feel like you got to be careful about what you wish for here. And I feel like I accidentally may have opened up Pandora's box, as if you couldn't just buy a slide whistle. I mean, what's happening?
Well, I just want to make sure it's like a good slide whistle. Because, I could get a sound effect and play it on like my Gogsler here, but like,
sure,
it's not the same.
Exactly. Like, it's not the same as like popping into frame and then playing slide whistle.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't even want to know what. I mean, I feel like Eternal Darkness at the heart of my soul is coming to an end soon. So, like, you couldn't just come in there and freak me out with that.
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe I could and should just do that.
Reg
Veloz
Veloz
and
in chat.
Chad.
Yeah, does Dan have a slide whistle? And I was going to say, he is a human slide whistle. Is that where you're going to?
Exact same
Yes.
thing.
Wow.
I think we're drifting. I think we're drifting.
Yeah, there it is.
This is the moment.
Guys,
I just
get over
honestly, I
it.
think I just read it that way at first. I'm like, is Dan a slide whistle?
Like,
yes,
no, yeah, he is a slide whistle.
Yeah.
There's so many meanings you could get from that. But Jeff Bakalara, you brought up something during the break that my stomach was immediately filled with bile.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm interested where this is going to go.
I don't know if this is a thing around the country where there are trains. But where I live, there's a lot of trains in New Jersey.
Okay.
And the people
There
at
are
Warner,
trains around the country, I can confirm.
there
It's
are,
literally
but
one in
not
my
like
backyard.
commuter and freight as much as
Yeah,
like in Jersey. It's like all trains going
Okay.
into Manhattan, and there's a lot
Sure.
of freight too.
yeah, we have freight trains behind us. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Okay. So the people at Warner Brothers decided to like franchise out little Polar Express theatrical train plays.
okay.
And my wife bought tickets to one of these things. Okay. And we on Sunday went to see the Polar Express experience. Okay. So you get to a train station.
Sure,
It's basically
yeah.
like a defunct train station because it's like
so far I'm like okay with this. I need to hear like, what did you see with your eyes?
great question. I'm a slow storyteller, but
I'm
usually-
you're building up the tension. I like it.
So we get to this train station that I believe to be defunct, no longer in use.
Right.
They tell you get there an hour before showtime.
That's
Okay.
a good sign.
They do 4 shows a day. Okay. You get there an hour before, and there's like this huge tent outside the station where it's basically just like a chance to spend money before you get on the train.
Just like
Buy
porcelain
whatever-
dolls of Tom Hanks.
It's insane. Like they will sell you literally anything train, snow, Christmas, bell related.
Were there
okay?
train whistles at least?
No.
Oh.
No. So, free tog in the chat. Bakalar, such a dad right now. I'm glad you're following along with what is happening in my life. So we get on this train. Finally, they make an announcement. Everyone, the 110 Polar Express is about to depart. So there's 6 trains with 100 seats on each train, and everyone gets into a car.
Okay.
And all the kids are like wearing pajamas because they've read or seen the Polar Express, and apparently that's what you do. You wear your pajamas. It's
Yeah,
very
the train
Christmas-
kidnaps them from their beds while they're in their
exactly.
pajamas. Yes.
Is what I came to learn. You get on the train and the show starts. The train starts moving, and they do a whole like performance, and everyone's mic'd up. There's lights, speakers, and it's all on the train. And both sides of the train are facing the center, right? So like one half second, they're both facing each other, and the center of the train is like a stage, and they're putting on a show. And there's like lights synced up to the narration, and there's like all this production, and the train's moving, and then the train stops, and there's like extra added sound effects over the speaker system, and they're like, and the conductor comes on, and he's like, there's a bunch of caribou outside. We need all the kids to start yelling and screaming, and they frost out the glass so you can't see that you're actually in suburban New Jersey. They frost it all out, so they're like, oh no, you're really at the North Pole. And it's an hour. They give out hot chocolate. These guys, so each actor, right? There's like main train staff that are doing like the singing and whatever. And then there's like, they must do like a rolling performance because like train 1 is maybe like a little ahead, because is there a character in this show who's like a Brooklyn hobo? Like, is there someone who gets on the train and is like, hey, what are you doing here?
There's like the guy, the rail rider, the hobo, and he's like, gets on top of the train, and
this guy, I could not stop laughing out loud at the way he was performing. I like, Stacey was like, no, that's me. I'm like, I'm being entertained. I can laugh at this guy. Like, we paid a lot of. Could not get over it. So they like go from train to train and they're performing, and then Santa comes, and then everyone gets a bell, and then they read the book. It's a whole insane thing. And all the train does is like go 10 miles one way and then 10 miles back, and it's over. And holy shit, it was quite. I've never seen anything like it.
It sounds delightful. We had a Christmas train in Colorado we went on, and it was just like you get on there and it's like fancy, all made up, and Santa does come on there, but it wasn't a performance. You're just like looking at the lights outside the window and stuff like that. We did it every year. We loved it. But this sounds incredible.
It was the microphones and production, and like you could tell like all these were like theater kids, and they were super jazzed, and they were very into it, and that was awesome. And yeah, it was wild. It was really wild. Jan, you would have hated it.
So I really, really, really dislike the movie. And I think that's a weird, not an uncommon statement, but I do love theater. My question is though, why? Are they re-releasing the Polar Express?
No, they do this every year.
Super popular, I think, still with kids.
Oh,
dude, the day apparently from November 1st to January 15th, they do this.
Wow.
Whoa, into January.
Okay.
Dang.
Every weekend, all weekend long, this is the thing to do. We were talking to people, they're like, yeah, this is our 7th year in a row. I'm like, you've done this 7 years in a row. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, it's hard to get work as like a theater actor. I get it, like by all means.
There's no small parts, right?
No small parts. Jeez.
It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. I after like it was an hour long, but around the 45-minute mark, I was like, I need to get off this train. I have to get off this train. It was Twilight Zone shit for sure. I was like, this is too happy. I have to go.
Hey, as someone that went to the Bridgerton experience when it was here, I appreciate it. Let's let people have their fun.
Exactly. Cool. Yes, I let them.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. I am still upset that I was not the diamond of the ball when I went to the Bridgerton experience. I was like, what the fuck? I bowed hella hard when I went. Anyways, let's
You're
talk
the diamond
about
of our ball here, Jan, always and forever.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
It warms my heart. Let's talk about the news.
I've got news for you all. All right, let's catch up on some stuff that we missed, some stuff that's just happened. Let's start here with the latest update on Microsoft trying to acquire Activision. The latest report there is, and I mean the latest because this story has had multiple developments over the last week, but the latest is Microsoft is likely to offer concessions soon to get the thumbs up from the EU regulators.
Wow.
This is according to Reuters, which is reporting that has multiple sources, that Microsoft is looking to offer some sugar to help the medicine go down here. Obviously $69 billion deal. It's a really big one. All the regulators across the world are looking at it. The deal's already been approved in heavy hitters like Serbia, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. The UK, EU, and the FTC in the United States are still looking at it. So, and it does seem like things in those territories, the United States and Europe and UK, that they are maybe leaning towards going a little bit more heavy-handed here. Microsoft seems like it's got its fingers to the wind and might try to do something about that. The thing that they're offering, though, it does sound like something they've already like unofficially offered to Sony, or maybe didn't offer in terms of concession, but just said, hey, we will do this as part of normal business. And it is a 10-year licensing deal to Sony, saying that Call of Duty will continue coming to PlayStation. I don't know if there's extra stuff on top of that licensing deal. Licensing deal would suggest like it would be maybe a little bit more serious, but the idea is instead of just Microsoft going to Sony and say, Sony, agree to this, and so far Sony has been pretty quiet about it, or has outright denied it and said, no, that's not enough. The idea would be like, well, if we go to the regulators and the regulators say, well, we'll let it go through if you do this, at that point, doesn't matter what Sony has to say. If it's either Sony would have to take it or leave it, and they would almost certainly take it.
But I feel like that is a huge misconception about this entire deal, is the illusion of leverage from the side of Sony.
Yeah.
Right? Like at the end of the day, like they are in a position where they are just grasping at whatever they can. Obviously, you want to do whatever you can to get in front of it, right, and make sure they don't want it to happen, right?
Yes.
But like, there's not a whole lot to stand on,
right? And it's which is Someone in chat asked, the concessions will be made to the government, not to Sony, and that's not. I mean, what they're worried about competition between Microsoft and Sony. At least that's the thing that Sony has repeatedly brought up, and Sony is the one company making a lot of stink here. A lot of other big corporations have been asked about it. Nintendo, Apple, Ubisoft, not Active, EA, and they are like, we don't care. This doesn't affect us. We're not worried about this at all. So the concession would be shaped around what Sony wants. But Sony doesn't have. I mean, I think Sony knows it doesn't have much leverage, which is why it's so hyper focused on just Call of Duty. I think obviously, ideally, would want this whole deal to get derailed, but they put themselves in a situation where it's like, at the very least, we need to make sure Call of Duty is in a place where we can have a good position with that going forward. And a concession should be able to accomplish that. And at that point, it's like, well, then what are we actually worried about anymore? There's not much to be worried. So I think that Microsoft beginning to say, concessions are on the table. They'll probably start here with this 10-year licensing deal. I imagine they'll probably go up from there. And it probably won't be like, it'll be 15 years. It'll probably become in the form of some other concession somewhere. I don't know if that's going to be like spinning off some studio to be independent in the same way that like Fox had to spin off Fox Sports when Disney acquired Fox because they already had ESPN, right?
Yeah.
So that was a big concession. It's a good example of like what might happen here. I just don't know if there's anything that rises to that in this deal that would require such a massive concession. And that doesn't seem like it's in the cards. All right. Sony is selling an expensive motion tracking device to turn everyone into VTubers in the metaverse.
Is the worst name for a product I've heard in years.
Yeah. So Mocopi, right? That's how they want you to say it. It's Mocopi, right? And
flows real nice.
So it's like motion capture and copying your moves. So motion copy, Mocopi.
Shouldn't it be Mocopi?
Yeah, but I think they want to be able to. I think Mocopi is probably more easily trademarkable than Mocapi.
Let's just call
mocap
it
right in there.
Mocopi.
Mocopi is a series of 6 bracelets that you can get for around $360. You put one on the back of your head. You put one on your one on each wrist, and one on each of your ankles, and one somewhere else. I mean, who could say? And you basically just move around. These things track your movement, and then you can be an anime girl in the metaverse. That is what they're selling. That's what the video for this thing is. It's a big old fella just doing his dance moves, and then they transition, and it's like, there he is. He's an anime girl, and it's a wonderful thing. Truly is a beautiful thing that I'm very excited about. But yeah, $360. You just do a few lap dances and a few VR games. That's going to pay for itself, right?
Yeah,
and some.
Yeah, if we just pool our money together, I'll bite the bullet. I'll provide the private sessions, and then we'll all get some.
Hell yeah,
dude!
Right,
this is a thing you can expense. I mean, come on.
Yeah, can you imagine slide whistles and Mocopies?
Exactly. Can you imagine how magical or whimsical it'd be? You're getting a VR private session type of dance thing, and then the anime furry person pulls out a slide whistle.
Yep.
That sounds like the kind of magic I need in my life and would pay extra for. I have no real word on what the future sort of thinking is here from Sony, excuse me, beyond this just being like, this is one of their metaverse plays. And these sorts of things, I get what they're going for. The technology is there. I don't know if the interoperability is there. Like, is Mocopi going to be the kind of thing that is supported in Tower Unite and Facebook's Meta platform and whatever, Unreal games get made by Epic to become the new metaverse and Fortnite? Is it going to be that sort of thing? Probably not. So it's like, okay, these are for early adopters who are very into this idea. And I guess maybe at the very least, it's hackable so that people that do stuff like VTubing can bring this in and begin to do their own personal tracking for their own means. And that actually is pretty interesting. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of VTubers I've seen, behind the scenes stuff, you can just do it if you have an old iPhone that has the face unlocking stuff that you add stuff to your wrist or the back of your head to add some more detailed movement. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I guess a big thing here is that VR stuff already gets pretty close to a lot of these things, and then in that you also get to be in VR, and it comes with the hand tracking stuff. I guess Inside out tracking should also be able to track stuff like your legs without having to put any sort of weird bracelet on. But I suppose this would probably increase the fidelity of that tracking. And for people that are taking their metaverse characters seriously, that's probably pretty important.
How does this, like, how do you just make this work? I don't understand. Like, what does it plug into? Is it just like a PC peripheral?
So I think it's something like it's a series of balls like that are colored and light up. They might be tracked through a camera system of some sort. I didn't look at it too closely. It was just like people put it on and it just worked. So they might be like
balls, you say?
Yes, series of balls that slap against your body. Yes, that's right.
Okay. And okay, so and now, like, does it come with software? Like,
yeah, yes, I think so. Right there, I think there's a software layer that they are making. I just don't know if that then interacts with all like everything else you would want it to interact with. But they do show dancing, and then you are turned into an anime girl, and then they say metaverse. And I think for a lot of companies, yes, I think for a lot of companies, that's as far as it goes these days. Is you put on a thing, it seems vaguely useful for a metaverse, but then you just say metaverse, and no one really knows where they're supposed to use it.
Look, we are metaverse experts. Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone will know that. And I also think we need to see facial movement in our metaverse ball attachments. So to me, you combine this with some sort of like camera thing where I can attach like, the sort of animation points to my face and have my mouth move along with my anime girl. Well, then I'm all in.
Of course.
Right. Not that I have a plan for this. I'm just saying if I were to do this,
sounds pretty well thought out. This sounds pretty well thought out.
Just off the dome here, just trying to play along,
Yeah, I'm looking at it, like there's like a pairing process. That the actual like little discs themselves, they're not even really balls, they're discs, are pretty small, like the size of like if you have a tile. Yeah,
they look like little Chromecasts.
Yeah, little Chrome, like smaller Chrome. Yeah, but they look the size of like a tile, the thing you put on your keys when you need to find your keys. I don't know. Sony's a really good hardware company. I'm sure these things are pretty impressive technologically, but I don't know. We'll see if they become industry standard or not. I think it's a long way from that.
Okay.
The Gran Turismo team is looking into a PC port for Gran Turismo 7. Not too surprising, right? Every PlayStation game has been coming to PC. When asked about this, Kazunori Yamauchi, who is, Gran Turismo's daddy and has been for a long time, says that optimization for PC will still be difficult, even though the team has already done a lot of optimization work to get the game running on PS4 when it was originally, and for a very long time, planned to be a PS5 exclusive. He did not come out and say that they would make it for the PC because they're looking into it, and the optimization will be difficult because they got to get it running on such a wide variety of devices. I think that's his way of saying we are working on this, and what we're looking into right now is optimization for the lowest possible end. But he does say he wants to make sure it can run at 4K 60. But it's like, you got to give people options on PC, so people will probably be able to put it 1080 60 instead if they want.
What do you think is ultimately going to be more advantageous for Sony, to just outright drop support for the PS4 and stop forcing developers to have to make a different SKU for that, and instead to just embrace the PC of like, hey, a couple of months later, this game's also going to drop on the PC. It's not going to come into the PS4 anymore.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of an embrace, more quickly. They've sort of seen no real backlash from putting games out on PC. They've had some shorter cycles for a handful of games, and no one's really said much. I think that, and it's going to be economically more stable for them to build in the PC port alongside the PlayStation game when they're making it originally, instead of saying Nixie's come and do this work for every single game. Nixie's instead is going to be like, well, here's the tools we use. Can we just teach all these other developers to use them? So they are basically making the PC port as we go along. And at a certain point, you got a PC port mostly finished, just sitting there, and you're not going to put out for 3 years because of some windowing concept. No, that window is going to shorten, and that doesn't mean it'll ever be day one release for God of War Ragnarok 2.5 or whatever. But it'll be a situation where a few months later, like you said, they will come to PC much more briskly, and all of their live service games will be there on day one.
forgot Gran Turismo came out this year.
Yeah, man, another.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah,
That does
check that one out.
That's not on the list. It's okay.
It's okay. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's online stadium mode is broken in a really weird way. Have you been hearing about this one at all, Jan?
No.
Okay, so let me lay this down for you. You go into stadium and you want to play a little. You want to make your Pokemon fight other people's real Pokemon or another person's Pokemon, and you go in there and the person does a move right away that you were like, why would you risk that move? That move rarely hits. Well, they know that it's going to hit because every single stadium fight uses the same RNG seed. So there should be RNG in these things, but every single time it uses the same seed. So these players have found out that they know when moves that rarely hit are 100% going to hit and do a one-hit KO. And this is true across the board for every stadium battle. So it is essentially
weird.
a broken thing right now. It does not function at all. It functions, but you go in there and there will be no randomness to it. Everyone's just going to be doing the same thing because they know the seed is the same thing. It's bizarre,
crazy.
Broken, bonkers. Yes.
Wait, Jen, you're acting like I guess you didn't know about this, or
No.
are you realizing?
Yeah.
Or you're like, this makes so much sense now?
No, this is another reason why I'm gonna throw this game in the trash.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, just don't tell my son.
I won't. Don't worry.
Don't tell him about this weird bug.
It's the kind of thing where, like, how does this one happen? This completely defeats the purpose of the entire stadium, like mode. You are not going to be able to have interesting matches because people are going to min-max this very quickly, and they are, and the people who really want to be in the stadium mode are very frustrated by this. So, yeah, there was a couple of Twitch streamers who did examples like, listen, if you do this one move first, and then you do this one-hit KO move immediately after that, it will hit 100% of the time, even though it says 30%. And if you do this 91% move to hit on the first move, well, we know that's going to miss every time, so you know not to do that. And yeah, it's just weird. It's like watching robots play chess, but they play the same match over and over.
I am just more
Jan's
and more.
floored. He's
More and more
floored.
disappointed.
This one is especially egregious. Now, this one's going to be a pretty easy fix, you would hope, but it's just egregious. That unacceptable doesn't even begin to cover this. This makes your game not just unplayable, but like actively terrible. So, yeah, a very weird one. No word there yet on whether or not they're going to update this, but obviously you would hope they're going to.
My guts hurt. I just want everyone to know my
I
guts
just don't want
hurt.
to be here
from thinking-
anymore.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm sorry about what Pokemon has done to you.
It's why
That's the thing that kills me is just like how much money there is in those Pokemon fruits. You know, like the fact, that I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like the most popular IP ever.
Yeah.
And they are just like, well, we just can't scramble the resources to deliver a game that works. You know, unreal, man.
I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense.
I honestly don't think there's anything to get. They're just bad at it. I think they're bad, and they did. I mean, obviously, the question then is like, well, why don't they care about getting good at it? But they make a lot of money. That's the stupid answer. This so always
It's the same thing with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But
It's not, but it is.
It's not because at
it's
least
not.
It's not.
Modern Warfare 2,
It's not.
They have three
Look,
different teams or they did have three different teams working on Call of Duty games.
Yeah, I mean,
gameplay doesn't have that.
It's a bad analogy. I don't know what to tell you, Jen. I don't know. Something capitalism.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Ow. I don't want to be here.
I'm sorry, Jam.
Just don't wanna
We
be here.
will.
I don't want to be here.
We'll stay. I don't want to be here anymore.
Just don't
We'll
wanna
stay
be
on top
around.
of this one and see if they do get around to updating it. Okay, real quick
This
aside.
is why I am addicted to Marvel Snap Pokemon.
Yeah.
It is your fault.
Yeah, because it works
get back into it?
perfectly.
It works perfectly. I just want to play a quick competitive game against other people, low stakes, fun cards of an IP that I'm strongly attached to. I'm like, oh, sick. I don't know who White Tiger is. I'm gonna go do a deep dive into the lore. Pokemon, you have over 700 characters where you could do this.
He's waiting for you, Pokemon. You got to come to him. He's done meeting you halfway. We got to meet Jan halfway.
Y'all, there's a dolphin Pokemon in this game. It's cute.
Yeah, what's it called? What's it called?
I don't fucking remember. It doesn't matter anymore. Because
right.
when you evolve the dolphin Pokemon, you would think, oh, sick. It's gonna like grow like fangs, or it's gonna become purple or whatever. No, this dolphin just has a heart on his chest. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
I will say that the bread dog Pokemon becomes like a cinnamon roll dog Pokemon, and that's cute.
What's the
little spookster? What's his name? The ghost
Grievard.
dog? Grievard. Yeah. The name's not great, but I like a little spooky ghost dog. That's cool.
Jan, let's take a quick detour from the rundown here. While you are upset about Pokemon, I'm gonna let myself get a little bit concerned about the Mario movie. So we're waiting for that trailer, and by the time most people listen to this, that trailer will be out. But I want to air my concerns based on the leaks of some posters. This one involving Luigi. It just says you just got Luigi'd.
That's not real.
No, this is real.
How could that be real?
There's another one with Mario where it says plumbing is my game or something like that, and that's from
Mario just says you just got fucked.
All right, yeah, Kotaku's got the story on it. Yes, it says like plumbing's our game, something along those lines. I'm like, that's just from the cartoon. That's just from the show with Lou Albano. So
you could not confuse like current contemporary fans of Mario anymore by alluding to plumbing. Like that is the last thing people think of now in Mario 2022, right?
Oh yeah.
Like what are we doing?
There we go. At least 8 more posters from Reddit. I'm bringing them up. I just got to see a couple of these. I mean, the Princess Peach looks a bit funky. Whatever. I'll get used to that stuff. But yeah, we're the Mario Brothers. Plumbing's our game. Yeah, so they are just doing the rap song.
Plumbing your game?
Yeah, so we're the Mario Brothers. Plumbing's our game. We got
oh no! I don't know. This means Chris Pratt is gonna rap in this movie.
Yeah, I mean that. We all knew that. We all knew that.
Why would you say that? Why would you?
But if this, I want to put some good into the universe because I just sullied the universe by saying Chris Pratt is going to rap. I think Charlie Day could do a really good kind of like Beastie Boys style of rapping as Luigi.
Oh, I'm not worried in the least about Charlie Day's musicianship.
Yes, he's a great composer, as we know from The Nightman Cometh. I guess we'll see. We're gonna see. Most people will watch the trailer, and I bet the movie's gonna be just fine. That's where I continue to be.
Oh, me too.
As it
on
gives
mute.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Xbox Series X was one of Black Friday's top products. Excuse me. This is according to Adobe that tries to track sentiment around these things, and it does so by we're looking at 1 trillion visits to websites, and they use that number, 1 trillion. And apparently this Black Friday, a significant portion, it's one of the top 5 hot products according to Adobe. The Xbox Series X ranked really high on that.
Sure.
The other properties on that list were Bluey, Modern Warfare 2, drones, and MacBooks. So I think that's really, what else do you need other than an Xbox Series X, Bluey, and Modern Warfare 2? And then
drones,
and then to defend your home, some drones.
The drones thing is a little concerning.
Well, it's going to be like just a flying quadcopter, right? We're not talking about Obama's drones. These are just your regular everyday drones.
Christ, Grub. No, I hope we're not talking about Obama's drone. I guess there's a certain level of dronage that you can get on Amazon where you're not breaking the bank, but you also have a fun toy drone. So yeah, I guess that is the move. One that can't cut you real bad either or injure you permanently.
Right. Where it's got the guardrails on it. And if a blade does touch you, it basically just falls apart and it's it
explodes on impact. Yeah. Exactly. Wait, never mind. That's not what I meant. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this doesn't necessarily translate directly into big sales necessarily, but I think we could safely assume the Xbox Series X probably did do very well on Black Friday.
Sure.
Likely so did the Xbox Series S, the Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation 5. I see no reason to think that most of those things did not sell as much as they possibly could, especially the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, now that they seem to be much more in stock. And this could be like a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts, where there was just more Xbox Series X to go around, so stores put Xbox Series X in front of more people, and then that got this whatever, how this algorithm works from Adobe to say, oh, well, that must be hot then. I mean, could be the way it worked.
Sure.
CD Projekt Red made bank thanks to Cyberpunk Edge Runners, so it's going to do more of that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? So CD Projekt Red said it had its best third quarter in company history, and it said mostly owing to strong sales of Cyberpunk, and that helped it post a profit of $21.3 million. Obviously, it credits that to improving the game, the development team working on the game, getting into a much better shape than where it was at launch. But it also says Edge Runners got a lot of people interested in it and ended up sending a lot of people to the show. They saw that happen with Witcher, now with this. And so they said, we are going to do more of that. We are not confirming any specific plans for a second season of Edge Runners or anything. But we have an appetite to do more in the transmedia space. So in linear visual animation or live action, and those plans have not changed. So when we are ready, you may expect to see more announcements in that regard coming from us. And they are the poster child for putting out a movie, putting out a show, and then making a lot of money from people running from that to go spend money on the game. That's worked out real well for them so far. So I just wonder,
is that a threat, CD Projekt Red?
Yeah,
you can expect us.
Yeah. Expect more in that regard coming soon. But they've done the Witcher show. They've done, I guess, a Cyberpunk anime. I suppose this means maybe like a Cyberpunk movie or a Cyberpunk live action show next, and more Witcher animes
maybe
alongside.
a play on a train, perhaps, that you can bring your whole family to.
There you go.
There you go. I mean,
that's transmedia.
Bravo.
Guys, it's a transmedia.
Not to be outdone with the dad jokes. Listen.
Yeah. Sorry.
What about Snowpiercer? Send me to that one. I'll watch that fucking train play.
I don't know if you want to be on that train play.
It's not gonna be that. It's not. You're not gonna get sliced up or shot like that.
I'll be in the back eating the cockroach slurry.
You'll be doing the Tilda Swinton hand gesture the entire time.
They're gonna give you like a nice tender piece of meat, and then they're gonna tell you it's babies.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, they're eating bugs, not babies, right?
You've seen Snowpiercer, right?
Yes. I thought they were eating bugs.
Chris Evans talks about eating babies. That's why they eat bugs.
Oh, because in the beginning of Snowpiercer days,
yes,
they right. So they started eating bugs. Got it.
I read Cormac McCarthy's The Road up until the point where that scene happens in it, and then I was like, I actually can't do this. Now. I just had a kid, so I was like, I can't read this.
Even with you mentioning arguably the most upsetting notion of that film by a mile, it's still good. I still enjoy it.
Yeah. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's see. Okay, Squad Developer is making a 12-player Starship Troopers game based on the 1997 movie. This looks pretty fun.
Sure.
It's going to have 3 squads of 4 players, and those squads take on missions to gather resources, build bases, establish defenses, and exterminate bugs. You're going to be able to upgrade your classes, and it does have different classes, but it's not just another like Left 4 Dead game, which I'm pretty relieved by. Starship Troopers is an IP that's kind of a funky one to nail down. The first movie was such a good satire. It was satirizing the book it was based on, and not, as well as military fascist propaganda. Games are not great at capturing that, but I suppose I'm like, it could also just be fun to kill bugs too. And so if it does that, I will probably be fine with it. I think. I don't know, but I'm interested to kind of see where they go with this.
Hey, Earth Defense Force does really well each year, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't stop putting those. Honestly, if it's like somewhere between a modern day IP based movie game and Earth Defense Force, if it's a mashup of those, I think that could be fun. Yeah, we'll see. James Gunn says that future games will be part of the DC universe under his leadership. So going forward, instead of just having some games that are based on those characters, there's going to be games based on that share characters and worlds and storylines with what is happening in the movies and television shows as overseen by James Gunn. That's pretty different than what they've done recently. It's different than what even the Marvel does. Obviously, Marvel games have their own universe separate from the separate from the movies and separate from the comics. It's like there's these different pillars. Star Wars tries to do this, but even that, where it's like, oh, it's all one canon, it's not. You don't feel that like a ton. But I don't know. Do you guys have a preference on this stuff? Because I think I'm growing in the direction of I kind of like it when they're separate at this point. I do like when things cross over. I like when my media consumption pays off in future media consumption. That's something I really do dig. But I think recently it's been proven that with games, at least, it's better when they stand on their own.
Yeah, I feel like that also might hamstring either the developers or whoever's making a show next, because you have to think about how this is going to fit in the greater universe of now suddenly like, oh, this person can't double jump. They're not allowed to.
Yeah.
What happened?
Exactly. This person can only call rats. That and like, you know, do you have to factor in healing into like the game or the character now, right? Like, oh, you can only heal with health packs now because that's how you'd be in the actual movie. And then does a character have to be voiced by the same actor that they would be in live action? I mean, this is interesting. It's cool, but I feel like there's just more freedom that you're allowed to doing it separately, because then, you know, Miles Morales hasn't been introduced into the MCU yet, but you have a whole game where you could play as him now.
Right. I think you just nailed the biggest problem right there. Is a game is probably going to have to hold back on introducing a cool character because the movies haven't done it yet, and the movies are going to want to do it first. Yeah. There will probably be some times when a character does get introduced in a game, and then with the plan to show up in a movie. But a lot of time, I mean, it feels like that happens in Star Wars games sometimes, and then they never actually follow through with it, or it comes through in some way that is less than stellar, a little bit, or just it feels like an afterthought in the actual visual media. But still, I get the impulse to do this. I get the idea of like, hey, I'm in charge. I'm James Gunn. I have worked on games. I like games. Why wouldn't we try to do this? I'm willing to give James Gunn a chance. I'm a big fan of James Gunn. So yeah.
Likewise.
As someone who is like very close to James Gunn personally,
sure,
I trust him with all the lollipop chainsaw decisions that he will be making.
And with your family, right? Like, yeah,
he's
the godfather of the Bakalara clan, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I trust James Gunn. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of easy to give him a little bit of a longer leash than some other creators. All right, finally, Criterion has hopes for a Burnout return, but there are no immediate plans. Criterion is releasing Need for Speed Unbound on December 2nd. It was asked by Eurogamer, hey, are you going to ever make a Burnout again? And creative director Kieran Crimmins said, it's not something we're looking at doing now, right? It's not my next game or anything like that. Not that I could say if it wasn't, but I guess I can say that it's not the next game I work on. But if you're talking about the two games that the studio has the most passion for, they're obviously Need for Speed and Burnout. We love those two franchises, and Burnout has a unique take on racing that I think would be absolutely phenomenal now. So I guess what I'm saying is I would love to do that, and I hope that if everything goes well with these games and we can expand the team, then maybe we can make one of those as well. He goes on to say it's not in the immediate plans, but he would love to. I hope they get back to Burnout. I understand why they keep making Need for Speed. Need for Speed is a much bigger IP, and it just sells and sells. And there's people out there who consider themselves huge Need for Speed fans. I haven't met many of them, but they do.
Yeah, where are they?
They get whenever I say something along those lines on Twitter, they let me know they're out there.
It's so surprising.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I don't get it either.
Is this some go between hidden majority somewhere?
It honestly feels that way sometimes. I mean, at least if we're talking about between Burnout and Need for Speed, it does seem like the majority is with Need for Speed there. But yeah, were you going to say Bakalara? Because I'm surprised by that too. Were you
I'm surprised by that. I like, unless we are just living in the largest bubble in the history of video games, which is entirely possible. Sure. I think the Burnout energy like trumps the Need for Speed energy. Like, I'm blown away.
Mm-hmm.
Like by that, I mean, like, we've played these games. We I don't know. I'm left a bit speechless as to which has the stronger sort of like fan cult following. but
I think that maybe people who are Burnout fans are, I guess, maybe more passionate. It's hard to gauge something like that, but I think there are more Need for Speed fans, and they are still very passionate based on, I will have YouTube creators come out and be like, I'm a Need for Speed creator. You've done some stories about what's happening with the next Need for Speed. Can you tell me any more? And then I'll go and like, yeah, sure, here. And then he's like, well, here's the video I did based on some of the stuff you helped me out with.
Unbelievable.
And they'll have tons of people watching it. And I'm like, okay, all right. I just didn't know. Now I know better.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. What was the last Need for Speed game that you truly remember? Right. I'll stop there. I'll stop at truly remember.
Yeah, Hot Pursuit is the one that it's like I cared about, and the most recent Hot Pursuit, right? That was like last generation.
I feel like that was a launch PS4 and Xbox.
So we're talking like almost 10 years ago now. Yeah, but they put out one almost every year since then. So, I mean, some of these games do much better than others. Obviously, they've had some real missteps. I mean, Need for Speed was like The Run. Is that the one where it was kind of like a little bit like The Crew, where you're driving across the country? It's, I mean, honestly, yeah, we can't even remember. But there's a reason they keep doing them every year, because they do sell.
Jeez, so. I'm like on the Need for Speed wiki right now, and I'm just in awe about how many games there are. Yeah. And most of these I don't remember.
Yep.
Like, what was Need for Speed Rivals?
Now, come on.
That's got to be a mobile game, right? Is that not?
I think that was a mainline one.
Oh, I'm like vaguely remembering the cover of that one.
2013 for.
It's like because like people have like a lot of love for like Need for Speed Underground, and but they won't even bring that back, let alone Burnout. So it's like, what are you doing? I don't.
It really is crazy. Need for Speed is like the Weezer of video games, where you're just like, they put out something every year and you don't even realize it's there. And
that's a good shout, actually.
You know?
Yeah. I just feel weird because I feel like there's so many more better driving games out there. Like, have you Need for Speed, folks? Tried out Forza? Forza's pretty sick.
What's that been like for you when you did that?
Yeah, is it like seeing color for the first time? I don't know.
I'm going to disavow these guys. I'm not with them. So when the Need for Speed fans come, just go for Jan, go for Bakalara. Leave me out of this.
No, you're culpable. Come on, guilty by association.
Come for me and explain, please.
Yeah, There's no malice here.
It's just shock.
There's just a level of misunderstanding that needs to be rectified.
It's like upon like meeting and working with Jess, I knew that Silent Hill had a cult following, right?
Sure.
And I was aware of that. Resident Evil, same thing, right? Monster Hunter, same thing. I just didn't think it would ever be applied to Need for Speed.
Need for Speed, definitely the Silent Hill of racing games. I've always felt that way.
That's not bad. Yeah.
But Burnout's probably going to come back at some point. It'll probably get another chance, especially if there are more Need for Speed missteps. But EA owns a lot of racing game developers now after buying not Camelot. I'm not gonna be able to think of the name of Codemasters after buying Bandersnatch, right? Yeah, from Calgary Flames. So they would have the capacity to let Criterion maybe take some time off from Need for Speed, have one of the the Codemasters teams make something a bit more arcadey, and that frees them up to do Burnout instead. We'll see. Even if they do, that's going to be because we can ask people like, what do you want Burnout to be? And like a lot of people say Burnout Paradise 2, and a lot of people will say Burnout just like Burnout 4. A sequel to 3, and I think I would probably prefer Paradise 2. I would be happy with a Burnout successor to 3, but they would have to figure that out. And there's going to be a lot of people I think who are not happy with if they choose one direction or the other. I guess they could try to combine them, but I don't really know what that looks like. So
you do Burnout 3, Takedown 2, Paradise.
Yeah, there you go. As long as you get all that stuff in there, people will understand.
Guns N' Roses.
As long as Guns N' Roses playing constantly.
What was Need for Speed 10 Terror 5 supposed to be?
No, shut up.
What did you just say?
That's not real.
I'm still on the wiki. I'm looking at the other games portion. This was canceled. Need for Speed 10 Terror 5. What?
Terror? Are you saying the word terror?
Terror 5.
Shut up.
Okay.
What is
that? How can large-scale street races take place? Oh, I'm not going to read the rest of this sentence. I can't read the rest
of this. NFTs?
No. Okay. All right.
Is it a hentai game?
No. I'm reading a quote. All right.
Yes.
How can large-scale street races take place in a post-9/11 U.S. city?
No.
What is happening? This can't be real. This has got to be a fan game.
This is like the Morpheus chip all over again.
What is happening? Need for speed 9/11.
No,
I'm just gonna do that.
Oh, no. Why would you put that into your search history?
Oh no, it's just giving me Porsche 911s. Okay. So Need for Speed 10
Terror 5.
All right. It says was it canceled? I think it was
It
canceled.
was canceled.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm more interested in the conversation of
There's an Unseen 64 on it. I'll watch that. Okay.
of which
I'll read that.
Burnout game is. I realize there is this like darling effect for Paradise, but I recall through my rose-colored lenses of memory enjoying Burnout 3 more.
I'm with you there, buddy.
Yeah, there's a whole Burnout 3 is the one that people if they don't like Paradise, they love 3. And there's a huge audience that prefers 3. I was saying 4. I guess was there a Burnout 4? I was just saying like they should do a successor to 3 or successor to Paradise. And I think that's a tough choice for them to make because I think the conversation, you're right, the darlingness of Paradise is right there. But I think a lot of people would just want them to go back to doing Burnout 3 again.
I almost named my kid Crash Breaker. Okay.
I'm gonna walk down the aisle to Lazy Generation by the F-Ups.
I'm out of news, Jan. I think we got to wrap up this segment. I think we got to get out of here before we find more 9/11 racing games.
Because I really got to ask myself, how can street racing be conducted in a post 9/11 world?
True. How did we get here?
We're gonna sit down and we're gonna really contemplate this together as we take another break, and we'll be back after that break to read some emails. See you in a bit. Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address that you can send emails to, but you can't send them and we won't read them until the music plays. I love Dave Bautista.
I do too.
He's just a great person. I wish The Rock would take his acting career as seriously as Dave Bautista does, because I feel like The Rock could probably get some like good emotional acting going on, but The Rock got too big. He got too big, so now he's like concerned about like, oh, I can only get punched so many times in a movie, and like he's much more in the business of creating the persona of movie star with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And Dave Bautista's just like, man, I will go be a weird android in your Blade Runner movie who like has a maggot farm or whatever the hell it is. It's the best. Yeah, I'll wear your tiny little glasses and look like a freaky guy.
The little glasses. Yes, he has 1 degree of vision that is in focus. Yes, it's amazing.
I love it.
I really want to see Glass Onion with him in it.
Me too. I'm like really debating, like, because I think tonight's the last night. I'm like, maybe when the kids go to bed, I can sneak out to the theater. I guess it'll be on Netflix next week. That's why I keep talking myself out of it, but I want to see it in the theater so bad.
Okay. Wait, what is that?
That's the new Knives Out.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, the sequel to Knives Out.
They just did it?
They just did it.
Look. Yeah, they recorded. They're making 2 of them for Netflix, and they put it's in the theater for 1 week, and then it's going to be on Netflix. Like, is it next week or sometime in December? It'll be on Netflix.
He's got a brand new cast.
Yeah, brand new cast.
And the only is Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Danny Craig. Yeah.
Oh, he should have a different accent each one too, just for shiggles. I hope. That is sick.
I really want to like the other detective movies that's coming out. What's his name? He has the mustache.
Wait, Perot?
Yes, that one. I want to like those more, but I can't. I just can't get into them. They're so boring.
Yeah, there's see how they run. See how they run. There's a new one that just came out. Yeah, See How They Run. That is like a based on an Agatha Christie, I think. And it's okay. I watched like the first part of it. It's okay. It's not as good as Knives Out.
Yes, I think Murder on the Orient Express. That's the movie I was thinking of.
Okay.
And then I guess Death on the Nile is the second one. I think Detective Pikachu is a better detective movie than those.
Yes.
Wow.
I would agree with that.
All right. First email comes from Greg from Atlanta also shouts out, if you live in the state of Georgia and were able to go out and vote, exercise those rights, y'all.
Shout out to Hotlanta voters. Absolutely.
Hotlanta, baby. Food crimes. Hi, Giant Bomb crew. Greg from Atlanta here. Last week at Thanksgiving, we had a fire pit with the in-laws. In my drunken state, suggested adding nacho cheese Doritos to the s'mores we were making. Everyone thought I was insane and that it sounded disgusting, but they ended up tasting pretty good. I next tried sour cream and onion ruffles, and those also tasted pretty good mixed in with the s'mores. What food crimes have you committed lately? Thank you, Greg from Atlanta.
Yeah, I got a fucking Dan Reichert in training over here. Easy on the cheese, bud.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, lots of easy cheese, definitely. Exactly what Jeff Bakalara just said. I am quickly reaching the point where I have to think about the consequences of my food actions. I did not pay much attention to how I was treating my temple on Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving was fine.
Then like
get to the next day, and it's like, the acid reflux, which I had gotten kind of under control, was back to hurt me really permanently this time. So I've been trying to be a little bit more careful with my food intake and not being risky. And it's not like it really is just quantity. If I eat too much, that's what really sets it off. But overall, it's made me less risky. So I'm like welcome if anyone's got some really creative food crimes they want me to try. I did try sardines. What was the other one I'm supposed to try?
Anchovies.
Anchovies. So I'm gonna get on the choves, and I keep meaning to do toast and baked beans on toast. Because of the Tam said it's really good. Yeah. And so I'm like, that does actually sound pretty tasty to me. So I'm like gonna try that. But those aren't food crimes. They're food crimes here in America. Clearly, it's the kingdom's still coming for us. But yeah.
El Palo Loco. Izzy Azumi here in the chat. Cheese and cup ramen. Yes.
Oh, that sounds easy. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my like God.
That sounds like it would work. Definitely.
Oh God, it's amazing.
My sister-in-law brought over a pie cakin.
Okay.
And I think you can kind of discern what that's about.
Wait, there's a pie cake bacon?
No, the bacon would have been all right.
Okay, I'm like the third.
It was a pie inside of a cake.
Okay, all right.
Like an actual pumpkin pie inside like an otherwise like fruit cake. Not fruit.
That's cool.
Like it was cool on paper. I mean, like it was so overwhelming. Like you cut open this thing and you're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're just like, what is this thing?
You get to like the fossil record part of the layers. Yeah,
you're like, it was good. I think
my wife makes pumpkin pie cake. It's not a pumpkin pie instead of a cake. It is just straight up. What if pumpkin pie was a cake instead? And that rules. Man, I hope there's some left actually now I'm talking about it. So
that sounds delicious.
It was like it was just so weird because the pie was at the bottom.
Okay.
Like, and when you did the cross section,
you had to like work through it.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was look, I was already nauseous all day. I couldn't eat a lot, but anyway.
How was it assembled though? Like did you combine two separate dishes? Oh, okay. Equivalent exchange. I get it.
So here's a photo of what it exactly is. I'll just send it to you in our the chat here. If you want to pull it up, I don't know. But it's basically like on the top is apple cake. Then the second layer is like a pie, is like apple pie, and then the bottom layer is another different pie. So they just cake pie.
Cake pie.
Yeah,
cakey pie.
Could you throw it into the Bombcast channel, please?
Yeah, it's like really tough to like put all that together, and when you eat it, you're just like, there's so much happening right now.
Well, let me ask: would putting bacon in it make it better?
That's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know.
Probably couldn't hurt. Honestly, if there's that much going on, you probably can't hurt it by just adding a little bit of bacon on top, I don't think.
You know what? Bacon probably would have evened it out in a satisfying way with the saltiness. I think like crumbled bacon really will complement anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah. Oh my god, crumbled bacon with like fried shallots or fried garlic.
Oh, baby. Oh, sweet
Bottle
baby.
that up. Throw it on your back hair. Jesus.
Yeah, condition your back hair. So yeah, that's what that. It was good. It was also just like, I don't know. It seemed like almost pornographic to me, where I was just like, what?
Sure.
Like, it's just such a indulgent meal
Vulgar,
to begin
yeah.
with. You know, it's vulgar. We're just doing vulgar food crimes. Anyway.
That reminded me. I have a love-hate relationship with a specific celebrity chef or a chef that has become a celebrity. I kind of don't like him, but I'll watch his stuff. I don't want to say his name, but I saw him make gravy in a microwave, and I thought that couldn't possibly work. Like he made a roux and everything in the microwave, and I was like, you know what? Gravy's also my job at Thanksgiving. I'll try it out. Let me tell you, it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
made it from scratch. All in the microwave. It was
In the
great.
microwave. Okay.
Let me tell. Oh, geez, it was great. It was great.
how's your gravy? Is it like on the thickness scale from 1 to 10, 10 being basically a solid? What's your thickness level?
I like it at a nice 6.
Oh
Yeah, I think I'm probably like a 4 or 5. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you like a little loosey juicy
Well,
there.
yeah, some loose juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gravy at my table was a solid 9.4, and
okay.
man, I had to chew that gravy. Just, it must sound like I had the
Did you
worst.
put it in the microwave? Because you might have missed
No,
a step.
so they made it on like in a pot on the stove. And
Okay.
it seems, I don't know. Wasn't for
Jan,
me.
can I ask about your celebrity chef? How do they feel about chicken nuggets?
I don't know their stance on chicken nuggets.
Okay, all right, so it's probably not who I'm thinking of then.
Okay.
What's their nugget position?
Yeah.
All right. Next email comes from Tom from St. Catherine's.
Sure.
Sure. Hey, Giant Bomb, what do you think is the best game for my dad to relearn how to use a controller? I got him a PlayStation 4 for Christmas 4 years ago, mostly for Blu-rays, but he's expressed some interest in playing games again. He used to love Resident Evil, but after not playing with a controller for 20 plus years, it seems like his gaming muscles have atrophied. Basically, all he's played on this thing is Diablo 2, but anything with independent camera and movement controls have been challenging. With the holidays coming up, what are some games that could ease my dad into some more complex controls? Thanks, Tom from St. Catherine's.
I think I have an answer to this. And I only say this because I think it's what taught my son the idea of a third-person camera. I think you just got to do Rocket League. Because
Ooh,
Rocket
yeah, I
League
like that.
forces you to like look for the ball if you're not locked on. And I think there's a sort of like organic... I think there's like a second nature kind of organic, physical response people have to that. I'm not saying throwing them into multiplayer, but just doing like the tutorial and that sort of stuff. That might do it.
I like that. I think you gotta. I mean, the answer is you gotta find something they're interested in. Really,
Sure.
If they like, if you like skateboarding, Tony Hawk. If you like soccer, I think Rocket League's a really good one there.
Is your dad like car soccer?
Yeah. But it's like if your dad likes sports, I think you could handle like Rocket League, and that'd be
Yes.
a real success story there. I think. If he likes cute little things, give him Kirby. Let him play Kirby. That's working for my kids.
You know, if your pops isn't too turned off by how cartoonish it might look, maybe some of the Ratchet and Clank games could be a good ease into controls or camera controls. Maybe even God of War 2018.
Yeah, Last of Us. Because adults like the prestige stuff. If they're coming in like, oh, games could be this, give them Last of Us Part 2 even, and I bet they'll be into it.
Yeah, and then he'll learn how to play Take On Me on the guitar, and it'll be a fun holiday season. My Google Doc froze. Nope, we're back in. All right. Some folks were also saying perhaps Astrobot.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that a lot. Give them Astrobot, definitely. Hey, congratulations, USA made it into the next stage.
Nice.
Hey, we did it.
Yes.
All right. We have a handful, I mean 2 emails about Marvel Snap. Hey there, GB. I put off Marvel Snap for a while because I usually don't do a lot of mobile games. After hearing you guys rave about it, I decided to give it a try. Now my 12-year-old son is even more addicted to it than I am. It's so fun when we find games that we can share like this, but that's for another email. After about a week with a game, I started thinking about how incredible some other versions of this type of a game could be. My number one would be Harry Potter Snap, or Cast, spell casting. Huge universe with tons of characters to use. What would be your ideal clone of Marvel Snap? Love the show. Thanks, Matt from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Giant Bomb Snap. So Matthew Rory is a card. You play him, and whenever someone else plays a card that like would act as something that would do something to your side, like if it comes in as like a complaint, he gets 1 more power each time that happens. So the Giant Bomb universe, just all of us a card. That's what I want.
That would work, and I'll go. I'll piggyback on top of that, and I'll say the object of the game is to just get a full crew for UPF. Like that's all you need to do is 1 full crew. You can't have 1 too many, you lose. One, and you lose. It's got to be perfect
rules. I like
exactly. It's got to be the perfect number, and everyone has to like. And then like the sub game is like, did they bring a game? Did they bring a game? And like, really got to stick the landing.
Jason's game have nudity this week.
Right.
Check if it does.
And those are like the little sort of like buffs, right? Where it's like, oh, this, and everything has to balance out. It's a balance game, is what it is. You know,
I love it. I also love thinking about the extended Giant Bomb universe and how certain people's abilities would factor in. Like, I feel like Michael Himes would just be like a buff. Like he would just like give you +2 because he's just hyping you up.
Right. Yeah. And Will Smith, whenever a machine related thing is played, he gets power. Yeah.
And if you didn't bring a game, you just like add a Haim onto your card, and then he's like, that's good enough. You know?
Right. Yeah, just calling Haim. If no one, he gets on. It's like Angel in Marvel Snap, where if someone doesn't have a game, he just comes out of your deck no matter what and just lands in the playfield. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Second,
Star Wars though.
Oh,
Star Wars.
Yes. What's another IP that I really like? Little Women.
Professional ice skating. So we just get what's his name, Johnny Weir out there. That'd be a great card right there.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, he threw out his Weir.
Give me the Will Ferrell universe as a Marvel Snap. Like, I want to play my Step Brothers card next to my Ron Burgundy.
I like that a lot. Okay, good.
Second Marvel Snap related email. Hello, Bombers. With both Marvel and Pokemon having their own successful takes on a Snap game, what is the next major property to launch a Snap game, and what does it look like? Brian from British Columbia.
WWE Snap, and it's a game just about Macho Man. It's basically like it's a goose game. Yeah, it's a goose game or goat simulator, but you play as Macho Man and you just run into various buildings, and you like whenever you snap into a Slim Jim, everything like starts going wild and breaking apart. And,
I love that. I love it right now. The mental picture of Macho Man, Randy Savage, Mr. Magooing himself throughout a world. Just make it like a kaiju style game where like Macho Man Randy Savage is huge, but he's like continuously confused about why he's huge and doesn't believe it.
He has no concept. He's like basically like a dog or a cat in terms of like his awareness of his surroundings. Yeah.
And he can only say, "Oh yeah, brother."
Step into a Slim Jim. Yeah.
And then it's like, "Ooh, macho.
Oh yeah."
Fantastic. I fucking love Macho Man. Jesus
Me
Christ.
too, man.
Probably. Man, he's such a cool dude.
Yeah. Macho Man Mr. Magooing is maybe a good name for a podcast. I don't know. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah. Not even for a podcast title, just a whole different podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Or someone's handle at the very least.
Yeah.
God, is there some fan art of Macho Man or like Mr. Magoo as Macho Man Randy Savage?
That might be the one thing you're not going to find yet.
God, I could just, oh man, that's one can dream.
Certainly.
All right. Let's see. Let's take 2 more emails, and then we'll wrap up the show. We want to give enough time to, if you're watching live, we do plan on talking over the second Mario movie trailer. Who knows how long that'll be? Probably like a good 2-ish minutes, but that's popping off at 2 p.m. Pacific. Next email comes from Braden from Ottawa. Franchise lost to time. Hey, Bombcast. Braden from Ottawa here again. Love you all. Thanks for everything you do. Question. What franchise or series was lost to time and you wish would have a comeback? I was a massive fan of the original Unreal, not UT. I mean OG Unreal. Oh. To this day has been my favorite video game music ever. Side question. Is there even the slimmest possibility we ever see another Unreal game? Thanks as always. You brighten my week every week. Sincerely, Braden from Ottawa. I didn't know that.
You'll get an Unreal pack in Fortnite, and you'll like it.
Wait, what is Unreal?
Unreal is just it was Epic's Doom.
Yeah.
Oh,
or Epic's Quake.
You knew that.
Well, I knew Unreal Tournament, but I didn't know that like
Unreal. So Unreal was first they just did it as a regular like shooter, where you play through a demon world, cyber demons and all that stuff, and then later they made the online multiplayer version of that Unreal Tournament.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that Unreal Tournament wasn't just
so there was like Unreal 2. I didn't play much of these, but
there was wasn't there 3 of them?
I think there might be a third. I can't remember. Let's go. Let's check the fandom.
Nah, there's no way to know.
Yeah.
A couple folks popping off reading my brain here. I would really like a new Beautiful Joe.
Oh, dude, you are speaking my language. I feel like I've.
Becco, are you a GameCube guy? Are you a GameCube guy?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Eternal Darkness, Beautiful Joe, like the Capcom 5, at least you're right there.
I mean,
ready to go.
I played RE4 on it. Not that like I couldn't on other platforms, but
eventually you could.
Impossible.
Yeah, I think like it definitely has a soft spot for me. But yeah, I'm a GameCube freak. I mean, Beautiful Joe. Never have I played a game that felt very much made just for my deeply personal interests, where I was just like a slow motion, mark, if you will, and all that kind of good. Like it just did it all for me, and I was, I love it. I can't believe there hasn't been another one. It's been too long, without a doubt.
Grub, you got a franchise that has lost time?
Mine was going to be for a long time until they said it might be again Advance Wars, because I'm like, that Fire Emblem came out and no, it didn't come out, but like they did a Fire Emblem, they made a ton of money, and like, we're going to do this one because it has waifus and people like waifus, so we don't need to do Advance Wars anymore. And then they were going to do it, and then a war started, so they're not going to do it. And now who knows? I'm actually going to get that game.
Ever going to come out?
I think it probably will. I think there's also a chance it might never.
There's a ton of JRPGs that have been lost to time. One in
Super Mario RPG 2, Propaganda Panda says in chat. That's a good one.
Oh my God. Like throw that on the Nintendo Switch Online service. Jesus Christ.
I had a news story at GamesBeat that I wrote when the first update for Nintendo Switch Online got updated. I'm like, does not include Super Mario RPG. And that was just the headline. And I just like re-up that every time another update comes out, and it's still not on there.
Oh. I was gonna say, Golden Sun was a fantastic series.
Oh yeah, good call.
Gosh, there was I guess the Final Fantasy Tactics and the Tactics Advance series feel very, very lost to time. But when I was originally reading this email, the first to come up in my head was Team Fortress 2. Let me tell you, young high school Jan was hooked, and I realize Overwatch 2 has filled that void for a lot of people, but like. There was something about TF2 that just like clicked with me. And it's just like, oh my God, like watching competitive TF2 was like wild, and seeing how scary people were with scouts, not the puppy, but like the scout character, just people just obliterating people. They're just like little raptors. It was wild. Also, you was seeing a good spy play.
It's interesting because we had a quick look come up on the site yesterday for Evil West, and I was about to say that game does call back to the Xbox 360 era.
Yeah, I watched
of
that.
like,
Man, that looks like a 360 game. Absolutely.
In a good way, right?
in a good way,
very
in
good
like
way.
the Dark Sector way.
Oh.
Well, like if
Where
Dark
you're-
Sector was much better than what Dark Sector was.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I have like favorable memories of that game still. I'm not
Sure. Yeah.
Look, I also had about Eternal Darkness, which I still hold on to. I am still happy with
is
Eternal
good.
Darkness.
It's out of
It
its
is-
time. I think
Exactly.
if we go back to a Dark Sector next, I think we might be a little bit more rough.
Okay, maybe we do it.
Yeah, all right, I'm down.
But yeah, I think like there is this weird, almost indescribable kind of, middle ground genre that those games kind of evolved in and then quickly fell out of popularity.
Can we call it Jeff Bakalar's Dark Sector? And it's
Oh no!
a vague reference to yeah, you get it.
You get it. You get it.
Yeah.
All right. Last email for today comes from Paul from Flint, Michigan. Hey, Bombardiers. Y'all started talking about jury duty and how much it sucks. I love jury duty. It is a fantastic place to people watch. I was in the military as an analyst, and I have ADHD, so the sheer amount of nonsense going on in one room is amazing. Plus, as a bonus, if I ever get picked for jury duty, there may be someone playing me in a made-for-TV movie about the trial. Yes, I am that old. I guess it would just be on a Netflix show. Cheers, Paul from Flint, Michigan.
I shout out Paul. I've never had the honor, or if I've had the honor, I did not show up and did not know about it. So yeah, we'll see. I'll see if I feel the same way as someone with ADHD. I could see that.
There's so many other places to go people watching, Paul.
Yes, that's also true. What that is, it's just like someone's forcing you to go someplace where there are people. So now you just happen to be people watching. And it's like, well, you could just, if you really wanted to do that, just go to the mall. There's some stuff happening there. I promise you.
Yeah. God. I mean, I will say that when I was called in, it was a fun people watching. There was a time where like I just had my headphones on, wasn't playing anything. I was just looking around. God. Yeah, just go to a library. I don't know.
There's just some places in our world that are just strange circus lands,
Yeah.
And you just got to embrace the chaos, I guess. I don't know. I still don't want to actively and voluntarily go into that.
No.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Yeah, we're not encouraging that.
I mean,
whatever I've done to avoid be doing it so far, I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah, felonies.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep doing felonies.
Jeff Grubb wanted in 11 states.
That being said, I wouldn't mind someone playing me or being represented in a shitty Lifetime movie or series or Netflix
Spencer
show.
Tracy plays all of us in the next made-for-TV movie. Absolutely, I would love that.
Tom Hanks plays all of us like he did in the Polar Express.
CSI Snap. Think of all the different characters in the greater CSI and maybe even Law and Order universe you could play. And that about does it for this week's emails. Once again, you can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. What do we got going on for the rest of the week, gents?
I'm going to be doing some Game S mornings for the rest of this week. Starting, we'll get back in the swing of things with that tomorrow. And then what else we have happening on Wednesday? We will be doing an Eternal Darkness, Bakalara.
Yes.
At least you and I. Dan's out for personal reasons. And then, so that means we won't be doing a Blight Club on Thursday. So Blight Club's going to be off for a couple more weeks because we missed last week because of Thanksgiving. But when it returns, it will return with a furry. Sorry about a furry because furry is a cat. It's Bubsy.
I thought you were adding like a furry to the cast of the show.
Yeah, I thought you were going to show up
secretly one of us has been a furry all along, and I promise you it's Dan Reichert. And then we got, we'll have UPF on Friday, voicemail dump truck on Thursday. What else do we have happening?
After this, if you're watching live, you can stick around and we'll be talking over the Mario trailer, as I mentioned earlier. Hey, maybe we'll do a live quick look on Thursday of Marvel's Midnight Suns instead. Still pleasantly surprised by that game.
Yeah, the comment's real solid.
It's forgive me, it's pretty snappy.
Oh boy. And
this show.
I know. And check out tomorrow's Albumer.
Yes.
Yes, please.
And with that, folks, we'll catch you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. I've been Jan, he's been Jeff, and you have been looking great lately. Keep drinking water. We'll catch you next week.
We are Jeff.
Take care of your back hair, okay? The Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Tamor Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff Bakalara. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek, and you can find him online with the handle @DaveSavedTheDay. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy. And thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.
Mwah.